Hey YouTube, we are back. Welcome to part 6. I did a mix of colors. I'm starting to do the brush work. I'm breaking out the, these are the Raphael Carrel series. These are synthetics. Nice little point on them. I don't know how long they'll last. Not very expensive, but I don't want to run metallics through my good sable brushes. And I'm just mixing up a cool little color. Right there you can see that's kind of like a, it's got a little old gold, a little bit of metal to it. And I was just experimenting, and I kind of dig this, and we're going to hit it with a wash eventually. So these are going to be in these little vent ports or whatever these things are. And this is a mixture of Model Air Bright Brass, which is kind of like a, how can I say, like a warm silver. It's just got a little bit of yellow to it. And then we're using some Army Painter Greedy Gold and a little Citadel Lamy medium just to add to the mix. And it's coming out with a nice color. It's kind of changes color as you go through it, and the pigment's holding together pretty well with the wet palette. I might change over, and you can see it goes on nice in metallic-y. Let's zoom in a little bit where we're working. There we go. And you can see I can just get in there really tight with this brush. It's got a nice point on it. Make sure I just don't put too much paint on the end of that point because I don't want to flood anything. Just kind of gently work the paint in there. There might be a little too much paint on this brush. I'll come back and try to soak some of that off. There we go. So you got to be really careful. Just, you know, micro amounts of paint on your brush will go a long way. I might have made a mistake right there a little bit, but it's okay. We're going to wash that. And there. We got the other side done already. Then we got to work on the bottom side, which no one's going to see, but it's still kind of cool to have it done. So yeah, that smaller amount of paint on the brush just works so much better. And then we're going to have to really do a thin wash. Let's do a little area right here because I don't want to waste too much time on camera filling in these spots. But I really like this color. And maybe we'll do something from the Hawk War Games YouTube video and go in there with a really light sepia wash. It'll yellow it a little bit more, yellow greenish a little bit more. Sepia is kind of that strange, got a little bit on the edge there, but that should be okay. You can see better on that purple. There. So I'm going to get some of these done, and then I'll be back and show it to you. And thank you for joining me. Let me zoom this back out real quick. Whoa, wrong direction. Nice. And then again, these are the colors. You want to Army Painter model. I love that bright brass, and I put all my, especially this medium. It's easier to transfer into a dropper bottle, easier to use, and it pours right out. It's not like trying to transfer paint. So thank you for joining me. We'll see you when we get most of these done. Thanks. Okay, we're back. We got all the little vents painted in. You can see it's got a slightly gold, brassy tinge to it. And right now, I'm trying to break up the engines a little bit. So now I'm bringing in one of my favorite colors. This I used to mix this with bolt gunmetal and black. Where I put this on. This is gunmetal from Model Air. And it looks really nice on the palette, right there with a little bit of Lamy medium. Let me get back to the little painting area. And I'm just kind of using synthetic brush again. Try not too much paint on the brush, but enough to get it nice solid coats. Try it in 2 coats at least, or at the most. Remember, we're not doing trying to get this kind of a speed paint, but not a speed paint. Just keep going back and forth with it till we get a nice. So I have this pretty thinned out, or no, maybe 70% paint and 30% Lamy and medium. Trying to carefully get in there without making mistakes. I want to get all this painted dark, then we can go and highlight it later. I think that's a good idea. All the, you have like the actual nozzles for the propulsion systems, I believe, and then you have the pipe work going to it, so we'll darken all of it. And we can go in later. I might use a GW dry compound to highlight these up a little bit. Let me double check what I did over here. Yeah, I didn't get those. I really want to get make some interest on this. There's very little different details. I mean, obviously it's got a cool paint job with the purple over the chrome, and then we'll add these dark engines to it, and maybe do some OSL on the back. I'm just kind of planning that too. There's one done. And I'm going to do some more engine stuff on that. I'll show when I get back. We'll do all these base colors. Will basically be done. Maybe come back and show you how we're going to do these eyeball things on the front. So we'll be back in a second. Thanks. Okay, we are back. I'm breaking out some Game Color Ink Sepia. I'm going to thin it out pretty good. So what I'm using here, this is a porcelain or ceramic spot plate. This is mostly like a scientific tool for doing reactions and things like that. You can pick these up on eBay or Amazon from anywhere from $7 to $10 a piece. These are awesome, easy to clean, and you have this nice well, obviously, so you're gonna not have a lot of air contact with what you are. It's not like being on a flat pallet where it just spreads out and falls apart. I'm using a crappy brush, a little bit of water on it, mix it up. A little too heavy still. I'll do 2 more drops because I really want a light wash and glaze to do these little PowerPoints. See how that looks. Yeah, that's better. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we are back. Let me get in here close. See, we're going to go into the wash area and with a vehicle. Let's see. These all. Using the same synthetic brush, the Raphael Carrel. Get nice and clean. Getting a little dirty ferrule on there, but let's see here. Just try to get. I don't want too much wash on this brush. And you can see right there. Good. There we go. That's nice. It's going to give us that kind of that rule book paint job look. You already had like a slight yellowing to the metal, but this is really going to make it pop. You can see a little compartment down there needs a little more. Nice. Let's flip it around. We got a lot of stuff. I decided to do the gun barrel too. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think let's add a little more, break the monotony up a little bit. Let's see, try not to. Oh, that's a little too much wash on there. Let me do these big guys first. Probably a little too much there too, but it'll be okay. Come back and use that on the... Let's see, perfect. These are very little fine details. Let me dry my brush. Get some of that. See there when I suck that up a little bit. We're doing good. And see, it's going to actually color it too a little bit. And I can go in and some a little bit too much pooling over there. Pull it out. A little too much there. Pull it out. I got a rag off camera. I'm going to put it right here. And there we go. Okay, let's try this gun barrel. Okay, let's try not to do too much wash. Oh yeah, that looks good. This is really kind of breaking up the surfaces and changing the look a little bit. Let's bring another type of vehicle in. Let's do one of the APCs. I'm just going to do a couple of these on camera, then I'll finish the rest off of camera. Make sure everything's on camera while I'm doing the work. And this is, we had a couple little mistakes here. This might, see, cover that up a little bit. Yeah, look at that. We have that nice little, that little indent. I like that little area right there that holds up that little dark edge along the left. Let's add some more interest to the model. Let's flip it around. Make sure you get all the... You can see on my camera, I can see better than I can. I'm looking up at the monitor on the side of this Canon. There we go. I see like a little bit of silver right there needs to be glazed over. Nice. Do this side. We might have to do this in a couple sections on the videotape because I don't want to just take tons of time with this. Let's make sure I'm doing it on camera. Sorry about that, folks. Really want to get that little indent in there nice and filled with the wash to really make it pop. That is cool. Let's see. Let's do one of these bad boys. Well, there we go. Let's see if we can fix that little edge right there. Get a little bit of paint. And we can at least camouflage it a little bit, and we have to go in there and fix it. But we might do silver highlighting on these edges, just to bring another level of detail. And I think that's what is in the these areas, these raised areas surrounding the vents or whatever these are. I think are done silver. This is a big. Let's not put too much in there. This is a pretty big vent area. Yeah, that was looking killer. So I'll do the rest of these off camera and we'll be back and show them to you. Thanks. Okay, we are back real quick. You can see the spot tray, a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a rag, and it just cleans out so fast. So got rid of that wash so it won't build up. And I love how this is popping a little bit now. You can see that little bit of differentiated. Really, I'm glad I didn't go too gold. I would have made it darker. And then we got the bottoms. And I think when I do some hard edge highlighting on these, I'll go back and do a little more of that. And it looks like we're going to have to do some some black washes too to bring out some of the other details. But we'll get to that when we get to it. No rush. I think next thing we'll be doing is going into these drop ships and getting those little eyes painted. I think we have some tanks. Yeah, all the tanks have them too. And we'll go into that next. So I just want to give you a little update. I like how that breaks it all up. Yeah, those are looking cool. Yeah, this is the first time I ever like painted like these sesame so tiny. And the airbrush worked really nice. I love that Grex for the control. I could have, and next time is probably turn out the air pressure a little more on the ink. Gave me a little more control, but I was able to, you know, working at that pressure all the time, you kind of get used to it and kind of get used to where to put your finger with the air pressure. And, well, air pressure is always one way. It's on or off. And then pulling your paint and getting that feel. I can adjust the knob on the back of the Grex so it gives it a limit, so it'll only make such a certain line. But I think I like it, like kind of this patchwork look. It doesn't look that patchwork anyway. That work looking anyways. It does look like really close to the rule book paint jobs. So we'll come back. We'll do the reds, and we'll probably make that a part. I might go in here and do these guns too. I think maybe do a little bit of a wash, or silver those up and wash them a little bit, just to give them a little more difference. Right in that area, and then underneath, just to break it up a little even more. So you even got there the bottom vents for the I guess anti-grav, or how these things work. And then the engines are darkened out. We'll highlight those up a little bit. And maybe, I think I really want to do some OSL on all the flyers. So we'll come back and these are all in hover mode. But it'll be kind of cool to put a little OSL on the bottom. Oh, we can do OSL on the backs too. That's kind of cool. Yeah, we're good. So that is it for now. We'll see you when we get back. Thanks. Okay, I'm back real quick. Let's do a little quick update. I'm running some chrome, and I'm doing the eyes on all the ships. I'm using all the war paints. I like the feel of their paints. They just come out really nicely on the wet palette. And let's see. Ooh, shoot. I'm gonna get some orange here. I've been doing a little bit of wet blending on one of the big ships, and I want to just do some final touch up on the eyes. So with those 3 levels of red, as you can see there, and then I got a little bit of fresh orange out because I left the paint overnight, and it's nice for blending, but it's not for these little tips. I want to make them really bright. That looks good. Another thing I'm doing, obviously you can see I'm using the synthetic Raphael Carrels. I really want to get some pop on the engine outlets. So you can see right there, I've got some chrome paint. And I don't know if I'm really thrilled with it on the wet palette. It really kind of breaks down the pigment. But I'm trying to work it out so you can see that little outlet right there. And I'm just kind of basically doing a hard edge highlight over the whole thing. Try not to get inside there. It's okay if you do get a little inside there. It's fine. Act as a highlight on the grading in there, and we can run some more wash back through there again. We did some of the sides already on this one. This adds a little more interest to the model. So you know it's all purples and that muted chrome. There's a straight chrome right on top of everything. It just breaks it up. It breaks up the look a little bit. Make sure you just keep your control of your paint. You don't want too much on the brush. It will run away from you.
If you're one of the faces of arthritis, get Australian Green. It's effective relief for arthritis, backed by the empty jar guarantee. Back pain? Try how strength and bring back pain.
There.
Real medicine. Trust it.
And I'll be back in a second and get some more of these done. What else have I done on these? Done some of the. I got to do a little more touch up on these guys. You can see there. I got to really figure out how to get a brush into those areas. Luckily on this, there's nothing on the bottom to really do. We could, if we wanted to, we could add some that brassy silver in there and wash it with the sepia. We give it some interest. It look like some kind of propulsion drive. So that'll be it for right now. Let's see one more thing. I'm working on one of the. Put a little bit of silver there, and don't forget we're going to do a black wash on all of this to really bring out the detail on these things, like these little nozzles around the front end, and probably a black wash on that grill. I don't think I really like. It looks dirty, and it can be a little bit dirty. These things are, assault craft, and you see how the silver things look really, really nice that way too. And we could pick some more little details on the thing I chromed out. And on the bottom, I will do the same thing, just taking the bottom of the brush and making sure you don't have too much paint on it. And these are really, really flat, so you got to be careful. There. See how nice that makes that stand out? Let's do one in the middle too. And so I got a little bit on the grill there. We'll go back with a little bit of wash and fix that later. We can see just that little bit of detail just makes these things pop out a lot. So thank you for joining me. I think I'm going to end this part here. Or maybe not. You'll see in the next section. I got to see how much... I don't want to run these things 20 minutes to a half hour. So as usual, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you either in the next part or the next section on this part.